Hey, what's up everybody? My name is John, but people on the internet call me Narwhal, and I'm currently in the midst of watching through every single superhero movie ever made in order, and today we're here to talk about Hellboy II, The Golden Army. It's been over a week since I've watched this movie, and I'm gonna be totally honest, I don't even remember what the phrase The Golden Army has to do with anything in this movie. I don't even know what The Golden Army is, and I watched this movie like 8 days ago. Something to always keep in mind when watching my reviews is that I usually don't know what I'm talking about. I think that's hopefully part of the charm of these videos, but if you want like a in-depth analysis of Hellboy 2 and all the lore and shit, this is not the place for that. But, you know, we're gonna have a good time, okay? I'm in a pink shirt, I'm feeling good, but mentally, I'm a bit all over the place, you see, because watching a new superhero movie every single day for, it's getting close to a month now, it's a lot, you know? It's a lot to process. Superhero movies are already not my genre of choice, if you couldn't tell, and when you just see the same thing but reskinned over and over and over again, it's a lot to process. I really hope that I'm not doing a disservice to these movies by watching them back to back, but you know, at the end of the day, it's like, it's the same as if I was to watch anything every night. Like usually every night I watch some show or movie, and the only difference is that I just am eliminating everything but superhero movies for the next 2 months. My point is, I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's talk about Hellboy 2. This movie has potentially the worst opening I've ever seen in a movie, period. And that's a bold statement. I'm aware of what I'm saying. It was absolutely unbelievable how terrible the audio sync is within the first 2 minutes of this movie. So they show a younger version of Hellboy when he was like a little kid being raised by whatever the fuck that guy's name is. And I don't know what happened in the production. Maybe like the kid actor was not very good, or they didn't like the way he delivered his lines. And so they very clearly like dubbed over his voice with new lines, which happens plenty of times in movies. Like that's a very common thing where they do voiceovers. If they didn't like a certain line or even just a certain word, they'll change it out. And if you're not really paying attention to the person's lips, you don't even notice. In most movies you watch, they do that at least a couple times. But oh my god, the sync was so off.
It's not even a chimney, Pop.
Oh.
I wanna wait up. Watch him do it.
Nonsense.
Okay, I want a story then.
No.
One, and then I'll go to bed right away. Then I'll brush my teeth.
And they don't even try and hide it. They don't even cut away. They don't try and do anything. They just... I'm at a loss for words. It's like a 3 to 5 minute scene where Hellboy as a kid is talking to his dad, and every single word he says is not in sync. I'm gonna say a sentence, but I'm gonna fuck up the audio sync when I'm editing so you guys can see what I mean. So imagine if I'm talking like this and you're watching the movie, my mouth should be in sync with the words, but by the way I'm editing it, you can tell that my mouth is not saying any of the things that you're hearing. Wasn't that distracting and annoying? I don't know, maybe some people consider that nitpicking, but to me, that's just a glaring issue in the editing room. Like, how do you not reshoot that or something? And it was weird because I texted my buddy who's watched all the superhero movies, and I was like, yo, in Hellboy 2, like the opening is terrible. Like, what's up with the sync? And he responded that he didn't even know what I was talking about. And he's like, oh, maybe it's your internet. But it definitely wasn't like lagging or anything like that because all the other characters were fine. I don't really know. It's not like, obviously that's not the entire movie. It's just one scene, but it's like when you start the movie with that, it's like starting the NBA finals with an air ball, or like getting ejected or something. It's just totally ruins the whole vibe of the entire movie. Anyway, the creatures that feed off calcium called tooth fairies are absolutely horrifying. That scene in particular literally made my like hair stand up on my arm and I was itching myself. You guys ever have that where you're in bed and you're watching something and then you feel like there's ants all over you, but there's not? Or does that not happen to anyone else and maybe I should go to a doctor and get that checked out? Regardless, I thought that scene was awesome. Now, although I don't think either this movie or Hellboy were the best, what I do love is how stylized Del Toro's movies are. You can tell when you're watching a Guillermo del Toro movie just based on the look alone, and the costume design and the character design is so incredibly unique, and that is worth applauding, I think. I believe a lot of the next generation of filmmakers will be influenced by Del Toro's style, and I think that is something that's beautiful. Whenever there's any director that has a very specific unique thing about them that they kind of stick with their whole career and become the best at it. I think that's really inspiring. For example, Christopher Nolan's thing is time, and in every single movie he makes, it's focused on this concept of time. And I think that seeing that throughout his different movies is really inspiring for a new director who maybe is influenced by that style. And something that I mentioned in the review of the original Hellboy was I really like how Hellboy as a character is humanized and he struggles with his own insecurities and his own flaws. And I just wanted to compliment that again. Something that I really like is that Hellboy is kind of a dick in a lot of senses. Like, he's kind of an asshole to a lot of people, but you do realize that he's a good person, and you see glimpses of that deep down, that he is trying to do his best and he's trying to become a better person. And I think that's a really awesome message to send. And Hellboy always gets the job done, but he does it in just the worst way possible. And I think that has a charm in and of itself, is just the fact that basically every time Hellboy is used to fix something, he fucks up a lot of shit, but he does end up getting the job done. Relating to Del Toro's style, I think the bug creature was absolutely awesome and just beautiful. If you haven't seen the movie, basically there's this plant creature thing that they're fighting, and when they kill it, it essentially like turns into beautiful flowers and plants and like grass. It just dies, but then it molds into everything around it. And so like this street of this city basically turns into this beautiful, lush and green environment. And I thought it looked awesome. And although I didn't think this movie was the best, I did really enjoy the theme about feeling like you need people to accept you and like you. And there's a really good line that Hellboy's girlfriend basically says, like, do you need everybody to like you, or is me liking you enough? Is me, like the person closest to you, caring about you, is that enough for you? Or do you really need the reassurance of all these other people that you don't even care about? Like, why do you need you to like them if I like you? And I think that's great. But you know, the movie didn't do anything for me. I didn't feel like I was glad I spent the time watching it, and I probably won't watch it again. I've realized a trend with myself where I give these movies a pretty generous score because I make the videos right after watching them, and for whatever reason, I'm in an emotional state where I feel like it was better than it was. So I gave Hellboy 2 a 7 out of 10 on TikTok, but looking back on it, I'm definitely giving it a 6. I just don't think I really got anything out of that movie that I'm going to be taking with me or that I'll think about ever again. But if you guys loved Hellboy 2, let me know why in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Also, if you're new around here, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and there's new videos every other day. Also, if you want more content, you know, in between videos, or if you like me, be sure to check out my podcast called Peak to Middle School. It's linked in the description down below. There's 2 episodes every single week with full video versions on YouTube, and I think it's a really fun and engaging show, and you guys should definitely check it out. On some of the episodes, we actually discuss, you know, where I'm at in this journey, and sometimes we spend, you know, 15-20 minutes talking about what I've thought of the challenge so far, some of the movies I've liked, I haven't liked, and all that stuff. So definitely go give it a listen.
Gravity's really done a number on your face.
Your skin feels like a woman's.
You look like you wouldn't taste very good.
You almost lost the Seattle Marathon to a man juggling the entire race.
Are you an organ donor?
Is that a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's gonna want your fucking organs.
In 4th grade, your hair looked like a helmet.
It did. I'm gonna chop off your hands and use them as ornaments. No?
No.
Okay.
It rains 24/7 and you're still the most depressing part of my day.
Your breath smells like my penis.
Out of all of our friends, I think you're the worst at climbing trees.
I would love to go to the zoo and shove you in the gorilla exhibit.
You say that you could never be CEO of a company because you care about people too much. I think it's because you're stupid.
I think so too. I bet you loved Chef Boyardee.
I did. I did love Chef Boyardee is awesome. But with that being said, I'm going to go watch Fantastic Four. Awesome. Wish me luck.